Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good. Let's see what we have got in 14th and 15th September's PIB news. The first item that we have is pertaining to Prime Minister's office. Addressing Ashara-e-Mubarak, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that means the whole world is one family, is part of our tradition, is part of our culture, is part of way of life in our country, India. And this is right not just for today, but it's going on since time immemorial. The thing is, if you study history in detail, then you will find so many examples of Muslim kings building Hindu temples, Hindu kings building Muslim temples, and it was secular. It is, of course, indeed secular country now as well, but it was secular before we got this idea of one nation. You know, this whole subcontinent of our country, which includes subcontinent region of South Asia, in which you have Afghanistan, you have Pakistan at present, India, of course, then you have Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, all these places, you know, Myanmar, parts of Myanmar. This whole subcontinent, particularly our country India, after independence as well, we have adopted secularism, and it's not that our country is secular because of our constitution. Our constitution is secular because of our traditional way of life, and that is world is one family. We have always, as a country, as a people, as a society, we have always accepted various different ideas, various different ways of religion and worship. I have so many examples for you guys, like say for example, let's take example of Christians. You know, Syrio-Malabar Christians are considered oldest Christian in the world, oldest Christian or Christ followers in the world, because Apostle of Christ, Saint Thomas, he visited India some 2000 years ago, right after the Christ he was here, and since then we have Christianity in our country, in India. Talking about Islam, before establishment of Islam religion, Arabic people, they used to come here for trading, and after establishment of Islam as a religion, you know, mosques and other things were built in our country India in various different parts. We have evidence of this thing. We know the story of Parsis as well, how they arrived in this port city or port town of Sanjan, that is in Gujarat, and they were accepted by Indian people, and they are part of our society since then. We have Jews living here, so I can go on and on. You know, from we have the Sikh religion, Buddhism, Jainism, all these religions. You know, they were created here in our country. So this is the beauty of our country, and this is a very unique tradition that we have nowadays. We find that if you go out for you know, for tourism purpose, if you visit a place or travel agent or someone, then they will show you brochures of various different cities, and they will tell you that this city is very metropolitan or cosmopolitan. You will find people living from various different religious backgrounds, and you know, people from various different different countries, they are living in this city, and you will find it this and that over there. Even if you are going for tourism or for study purpose or for living purpose, for migration purpose, they tell you this thing about various different cities. This thing was this cosmopolitanness, or this sort of idea was there in our country since time immemorial. So this is the beauty of our country, and this is the reason why this statement, or this you know, this philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam fits very well with our tradition. Now this Ashara-e-Mubarak is basically an occasion of remembering the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, and the teachings of Imam Hussein was about sacrifice for peace, you know, for justice. That's what he has taught us, and these values are very important in today's era as well. Prime Minister also talked about this Dawoodi Bohra community. They are very efficient in business, proficient in business, and they are known for their honesty. They are very disciplined community, as well as they are law-abiding citizens of our country. And this is part of their business ethics as well, that they do not resort to this deceit. They don't cheat their customers. You know, this is ethical side of this community. They are doing business, but business nowadays, we know that the definition of business has changed, drastically changed. People believe that you can sell anything and any service or product and just make your money. Today's money or today's dollar is bigger and things like that. This sort of things are not part of Daudi Bohra community, and this is something that every one of us should learn from each other, that ethics play a very important role in business, because for once you can cheat your customer, but how that person is going to come back to you. And sustainability, viability of business is again a very important thing. Sales is just a small part of business. Anyways, dear friends, Prime Minister also talked about economy. He said that traders, they play a very important role in economy. They are like a backbone, and economic development is important as well. Generally speaking, people think that making money nowadays, there is this wrong myth going on that making money, if someone is making money, then that person is a wrong person. No, that's not right. Making money there is nothing wrong with making money, or if you're earning money, that's in fact a good thing, because if you are earning it from a legit source, if your business or your source of income is legitimate, then there's no harm in it. You'd be paying tax. The more tax you pay, the better it is for the government. Government can use this thing for creating roads and infrastructure and health facilities and education and other things. You and I cannot create school for our kids, right? But when we have a joint school, then our kids can study over there. So same thing goes with everything. We cannot have our own buses and public transport, what we call, right? We cannot have our own trains. All these things are part of government responsibility, as well as nowadays we see private players as well taking active part in this thing, but it helps all of us. So there is no harm in making money. In fact, if you look at big picture, then we find that we all are interdependent on each other as far as this economic world is concerned. Someone has created these laptops and computers and the smartphones, and someone is providing us internet, and because of this thing we can deliver and receive education. We can do so many things, isn't it? Just imagine if this was considered a negative thing. So traders play a very important role, of course, and business should be done within the purview of rules and law as well. This is something that Prime Minister has said on this occasion. He has also said that since his government came in, the government is trying level best to ease, to create this environment of ease of doing business in our country, and that is very important too. With this, dear friends, let's move on. Now, moving on to another item, and before that I would like to tell all of you that our pendrive and tablet courses are available for various different exams, as you can see on your screen. And the good thing is that up to 50% discount is available on our pendrive and tablet courses. This is going to last till 23rd of September, so make the most out of it. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Second item that we have is again important in terms of women empowerment. Now, earlier on, back in 2017, Supreme Court came out with a verdict called Rakesh Sharma case, and this case took away this right or this power from investigating officer to arrest a person who is alleged a person or a family who is forcing daughter-in-law to pay or to bring this dowry money. So harassment pertaining to dowry is something that is very common in our society. It is very sad that we find this sort of things going on. This sort of social practices are quite prevalent, in one form or another. But anyways, back in 2017, Supreme Court verdict was it basically softened this whole dowry case. Let me throw some light on this thing. I believe it would help you a lot. So we have one section called 498A of IPC. And as per this IPC, earlier on what used to happen is that if a lady is complaining to the police about this dowry harassment, then investigating officer was empowered to arrest all those people who are forcing this lady to pay this money. But after this Rakesh Sharma case and this verdict of Supreme Court, investigating officer cannot arrest this family members of this lady. He or she can arrest, or this investigating officer can arrest those alleged people only after a committee that has some citizens in it. This committee will go through the whole case. They will hear both the parties, and based on this committee's recommendation or report, investigating officer can take an action on this thing. So this thing was diluting this whole dowry related issue, and now Supreme Court has deleted, or it has basically modified its previous order. It has said that we cannot allow a committee, a committee that is not part of this criminal justice system, we cannot allow that committee to take decision, this very important decision with this dowry harassment. And now things have been restored. So now old position is back. IO has power to arrest a person who is a person or people who are associated with this sort of dowry harassment and cases pertaining to it. And this thing is very important for women empowerment as well, because what happens in our country, and this is again something to do with our culture or our social norms and rules and regulations, that most of the ladies, they are we have gone through many reports as well, as you know, that what we find is that in terms of higher education, we have seen a sort of surge in number of girls reaching at this level, higher education or PhDs and masters and other things. But when it comes to, when we go through the numbers of this higher education or educated girls playing a part in economy in the sense in job or business or profession, then we find that the number is not that good. The number is low. So this indicates that, after their masters or after their higher education, they get married, and after their marriage, they are not allowed to take part in, or they cannot do jobs and things like that. In city areas, this thing has changed, but still, it is something. It's very sad to, means there are so many marriage proposals are based on this thing, that if the lady says that yes, she is ready to give up her career, then only the other party will say yes to a marriage. So in terms of economy, if you look at it, then that's not a very good thing, because 50%, roughly speaking, approximately 50% of our population constitutes ladies, and if they are educating themselves, and if they are not given this freedom to take this dream career that they wish to do, then that's not going to help us with our economy. It is also said that if a woman can play an equal role in economy, if they are allowed, if this freedom is provided to them, if we provide them a platform, then this will help us in overall GDP growth as well. So this is one thing, because when you are not earning, you are literally dependent on someone, and once you are dependent on someone in terms of your survival, then it becomes very difficult. It's a sort of I'm not sure whether I can use this word here, but it's a sort of, you can say, slavery. It's a sort of slavery. You are not allowed to live your life. You are not given that freedom that is very basic, that is very, that is a base of a dignified life. So this is a thing as well. I'm not saying that all housewives are not allowed. But many women, they it's their choice to be housewife, and there is nothing wrong with it as well, because it's again said that we are not calculating the contribution of housewives in GDP. So this is one thing that we have to understand, that the job of housewife is not that easy. It is one of the toughest job out there. You don't have any vacations, you don't get paid for it. There is no fixed, you can say, working hours 24/7. You are on your duty. So it's not that easy to be housewife. It's not that if you are just working, then only you are contributing, you are saving so much money as well. Housewives, they save huge amount of money. They do all these things, ironing and giving tender loving care to family members and all these things. You cannot buy so many things that are provided by housewives. So their contribution is, you can say, it's appreciated, of course. But still, we have to work on this front as well. But when you find this sort of cases like dowry harassment and these things are definitely not acceptable at all in our society. Moving on to another item, again something that is associated with Supreme Court. Now the person that you can see on your screen, his name is Nambi Narayan. He was a former ISRO scientist, and the reason why he is here is because of this 1994 espionage case. What happened back in 1994? I'll give you some background of this whole case. It was believed by Kerala police that there is a lady from Maldives, and she has, some connections with some ISRO scientists, and she is buying, or you can say she was working. There were some leaks basically in this ISRO setup. So scientists were providing her some information about cryogenic technology. Now, cryogenic technology is, or cryogenic is something that is associated with very, very low temperature. So we have, of course, mastered this cryogenic technology, but 24 years ago, Mr. Narayana was working on this project, and he was arrested by Kerala police, and he was beaten as well. He was mentally tortured, and so many things were done on him and other people. And at that point of time, this Kerala police was, without any evidence, they tried to frame him, and finally a High Court as well said that he is in fact innocent, and Supreme Court again said that he is innocent. He has gone through so much of pain, and his whole career has been, destroyed. As a country, we have, we were lagged behind in this invention of, or you can say this this cryogenic technology, indigenous cryogenic technology. This whole project got delayed because of this 1994 espionage case. And I was going through one article written on this whole case, and when he was arrested, at that point of time, Mr. Narayan said that the scientist said that, why you people are harassing me? I have done nothing wrong. I'm as patriot as you guys are. I'm doing something that will help our nation. But these police officers, they said that if we find you innocent in future, if you think that you are innocent, or if it is proven, proved that if you are innocent in future, then you can come and slap us with your shoe. But for now on, just you have to go through this sort of torture and things like that. So when this verdict came out, Supreme Court has awarded 50 lakh rupee compensation to Mr. Narayana. Of course, money is not a big thing for a person like Mr. Narayana, and he's a scientist, of course, so you can imagine it's not money that he's after. It's basically his dignity, this whole career, that his career was affected and things like that. So it's very sad, but now let's hope that all those police officers who were associated with this wrong case, who have, these people have done something wrong, they have destroyed lives of so many people, they should be, they should go through this justice process, and if they have actually done something wrong, then they should be punished as well. Moving on to another item, today our country celebrated Hindi Devas, and Hindi is a very important language of our country, of course, no doubt. Most of the people in our country, they speak Hindi, and it's not that we are against English or any other foreign language, but the thing is that we should, we should be able to communicate, to read, to write, to comprehend our mother tongue, other languages as well. May it be Hindi, or may it be Tamil or Malayalam or Punjabi or Assami, whatever language it is, because we are, as you know, that country, we are full of diversity. So, and language is not something that is just, associated with reading, writing, speaking and listening. It is more than that. It is, you can say, language works like a root of our culture. So if a language dies with it, the culture of that region, or that culture that is associated with that language, that dies as well with that language. So it is very important for us to preserve our tradition, to make sure that, I'm not saying, when I say preserve, I don't mean to say that we have to oppose everything that is foreign to us. No, that's again going to be not that healthy for us in terms of economy, in terms of polity, in terms of society. But at the same time, we have to appreciate and cherish and promote our own languages as well. Prasar Bharati chairman Dr. A. Surya Prakash said that Hindi language is facing a challenge from English language, and Hindi can play a leading role in taking our languages. It can spread our languages. Today there are so many countries, they are interested in studying Indian languages, and they have these programs going on in their big universities too. But this, dear friends, This news was going on for a very long period of time. When I say very long, I mean to say from last couple of days we observing this thing since this was reported for the first time in news about this hurricane Florence. It has created huge amount of damage in Carolina portion of USA. As you can see here, this is the path, and it is going to head towards other parts of Atlantic Ocean in near future. So it's bad, and it is categorized as category number 1 cyclone or hurricane. And you can see here the description or this details associated with the different categories. Like category 1, you have wind speed of 120 to 150 kilometer per hour. So this wind speed, if you have, then this is called category 1 cyclone. Damage is minimal. Number 2 or category 2, you have 150 to 180 moderate level damage. Number 3 is 180 to 2010. Extensive. 4 is 210 to 250 kilometer per hour. Extreme and 250 plus is catastrophic. You can see here that moderate damage, just trees and something, you know, they will just get a good shake, but after that you will find that trees will fall down and houses as well, and this will completely destroy houses as well. It can uproot your houses too. Number 5, category 5 cyclone. And you can see here, if you observe this picture, let me zoom it up for you guys a little bit. All right, so if you see here, what you find is that see water here, right? Water coming, and now you can see water everywhere. So it's called storm surge. So how it works is basically, you know, when you blow wind, if you have a jar or if you have a you can say a plate full of water, and if you blow wind, then you know that this ripple effect will take place. So something similar happens with this thing too. When you have this wind blowing at 120 plus kilometer per hour speed, then it will bring water with it as well. But the more speed of wind, the more severe category, the more storm surge will take place. And something similar has taken place here in USA. So many houses are underwater, so many people, you know, they are evacuated, and 5 deaths are reported as well, which is very sad thing. With this, dear friends, Prime Minister's office or Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched a nationwide Swachhta Hi Seva. That means cleanliness is service movement from New Delhi, and the main objective is to, you know, to bring in this new energy and to pay tribute to the father of our nation, that is Mahatma Gandhi's dream of clean India. Cleanliness is something that is that should be part, and you know, it should be part and very dear to all of us. It should be our regular habit, keeping not only our house but also our surrounding clean is our responsibility. And because of not keeping our cities or our areas clean, what we are losing is we are losing health, we are losing so many lives as well because of this diarrhea and vomiting and food poisoning and other things. And we are also losing you know, big time as far as tourism is concerned. Who would like to visit a country or a place that is filthy, that is, you know, rubbish here and there everywhere? No one would like it, isn't it? So we are losing huge amount of economic opportunity as well. And as I told you, that our economic opportunity is closely associated with our development. So that's the thing. And Prime Minister also said that we have achieved many things under this cleanliness. We have, of course, you know, this awareness about cleanliness has gone up since this launch of Clean India mission. So far we have created 9 crore, that is 90 million toilets are created, you know, in different parts of our country. So many villages are nearly 4.5 lakh villages are open defecation free now. And the government is also working on this waste to wealth as well. We are partnering with countries like Netherlands, like Norway, Sweden. We have roped in France, other developed countries like Australia is there on board. So we can clean our rivers, we can clean our surroundings, we can generate wealth from waste. And as per WHO, if we achieve, you know, this target of 100% open defecation free India, then we would be saving some 3 lakh lives per year. So this is something that we need to work on. Now moving on to another item, it is coming from Vice President's office. Vice President of our country was in Serbia, and together both the nations have decided to expand cooperation in field of economic and cultural relations. We are working in areas like agriculture, food processing, defense manufacture, science and technology, information technology, infrastructure, tourism and pharmaceuticals. Wondering where this Serbia is, then we were talking about Bulgaria, remember? So right next to it you find this country, that is Serbia, and it's of course a part of Europe and multilateral level as well. We are cooperating with each other. We want to get rid of terrorism, because terrorism is something that is affecting each and every country directly, indirectly on this planet here. And they have also, Serbia has provided waiver, visa waiver for Indians for short duration trips. So this will improve people to people contact. We are also celebrating 70 years of our diplomatic relations, and on this day, to celebrate this, or to keep this, to celebrate this day, this 70 years, we have launched together Swami Vivekananda's, as well as Nikola Tesla, who was from this Serbia, very great scientist, of course. Together, their postage stamps are released by both Vice President of our country and his counterpart and President of Serbia together. So that's everything regarding this news item. Moving on to another item. Again, sad news coming from Philippines. Philippines was affected by this, or in fact it is affected by this typhoon called Mangkhut, and Mangkhut has killed 19 people so far. You can see here storm surges that I was talking about, 6 meter high. So it has basically so many houses, so many buildings are underwater at present, submerged, and now it is heading towards China. So China is also bracing itself against this typhoon Mangkhut, and you know what is category 1, 2 and 3 and now. So that's what applies on this thing as well. Now you have different names, isn't it? Typhoon, and we have talked about hurricane. So in Atlantic Ocean it is called hurricane, in the Pacific it is called typhoon, and in Indian Ocean it is known as tropical cyclone. So remember this thing. Now moving on to last item of the day, it is about AIDS. The National AIDS Control Organization, that is NACO, has released its latest HIV estimations of 2017. The first time when this was done was in 1998, and the last round was conducted around previous, before this 2017 one was 2015. In 2015 it came out with this report. Now things are looking all right, but it's not that we can celebrate this achievements. There are many things that we have to achieve. There are many miles that we have to go through now, because our target is that by 2030 we are going to end AIDS from our country. But so far what we have seen, the numbers that we get from this report is that 21.40 lakh people are living with HIV in our country. That is 0.22% prevalence, adult prevalence of AIDS in our population. 87.58 thousand new HIV infections are taking place every year, and you can see here, hold on a second, sorry, 69.11 thousand AIDS related deaths are happening or happened in 2017. So it's not something that it's not going to be easy for us to get rid of AIDS by 2030. So all of us, we can work on this front. We can create awareness about this thing and all these things, and we can talk about programs that are run by government, and antiretroviral therapy, ART, that is given to a mother, to prevent this transmission of HIV. If a mother is carrying HIV, then to stop it or to prevent this child transmission, antiretroviral therapy is given to a mother. So we need to expand its scope as well. And we have seen 80% decline if we compare it with 1995. If we compare death decline, then we find 71% drop if we compare it with 2005. But still, as I told you, right, we need to do many things in this front, and basically that's everything as far as this version of this lecture is concerned. With this, dear friends, I have to say goodbye to you now. Make sure that you share this lecture with other students, and don't forget to hit the like button. I will be eagerly waiting for your comments about your progress, how much you are learning and things like that. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.